our self-esteem depends on how we see our qualities. If we are rich, tall, and healthy, and think that these features are positive, our self-esteem will be high. If we are alone, poor, and sick, and think that these features are negative, our self-esteem will be low. People often think these values are fixed, but history shows they're not. Long ago, having fair skin was good because it meant a higher social status. Nowadays, being tan is seen as positive. This shows that what we value in ourselves can change. Values can shift when things are connected. If we link a bad quality with a good one, the bad one seems better. Marketing uses this idea with testimonials to make products look good. We want to do the same for our negative qualities that bring down our self-esteem. So, we made some videos pointing out common negative qualities. For each one, there's a list of people who share it. Knowing that we are not alone may help to render them less negative and more tolerable. Enjoy watching and learning. Walter Benatti, 1930-011, was an Italian mountaineer, explorer, journalist, and writer. Nicknamed the King of the Alps, he was one of the most eminent figures in world mountaineering. In 1954, Benatti took part in the Italian expedition led by Ardito di Zia, which took Achille Compagnoni and Lino Lacedelli to the top of K2. At 24, he was the youngest member of the expedition. The day before reaching the summit, Benatti and Amir Mahdi brought the oxygen to their colleagues. The two, however, did not set up the camp where it was planned the evening before, by mutual agreement with Benatti, but set it about 250 meters higher. Benatti and Mahdi managed to arrive near the agreed place just before sunset, but were not helped by Compagnoni and Lacedelli who, instead of showing them the way to the tent, told them from a distance to leave the oxygen and go back. Benatti and Mahdi had to spend the night in the death zone at 50 degrees Celsius, without a tent, sleeping bag, or other means of shelter. Mahdi reported severe frostbite in his hands and feet. Alexandra Dorovna Romanova, 187–1918, was the last Empress Consort of Russia, as the wife of Tsar Nicholas II. Very worried for her son's health, the boy was hemophiliac. Fedorovna sought advice and help from a Siberian farmer and Starik, who had recently arrived in St. Petersburg. Grigory Rasputin appeared to have a cure for her son and became powerful in court as a result. Over time, Alexandra grew to believe that Rasputin was the only man who could save her son's life. As a result, the Tsarina and the Tsar granted Rasputin the most complete trust. Over time, Rasputin began to leave his role as spiritual advisor, lavishing himself in judgments on politicians and ministers. Alexandra Fedorovna became increasingly willing to share the opinion of the Siberian Starik, until she became almost completely dependent on his opinion. Elena Muchina, 1960–006, was a Soviet gymnast. Her best year was 1978, at the World Championships in Artistic Gymnastics, which were held in Strasbourg, France. Elena won 5 medals. In one of the most spectacular competitions, she managed to win the gold medal by beating Olympic champion Nadia Khamenei and the greatest Soviet gymnast of the time, Nelly Kim. In 1980, Elena began training hard with the other gymnasts at the Minsk Sports Palace. Her coach, Mikhail Klimenko, insisted on having her perform the Thomas Salto, which was supposed to make her shine at the Olympics. A jump with a 540-degree rotation, gorgeous to see, but difficult to perform, and easy to miss. On July 3, 1980, 2 weeks before the Moscow Olympics, Muchina was practicing the pass containing the Thomas Salto when she under-rotated the salto and crash-landed on her chin, snapping her spine and leaving her quadriplegic for the rest of her life. Muchina died in 2006 at the age of 46. Flight 2937 was a charter flight operated by Bashkirian Airlines, using a Tupolev Tu-154 million, intended for passenger transport, in service from Moscow to Barcelona. DHL Flight 611, registered as a 9C DHL, was a Boeing 757-200 freighter flying between Bergamo and Brussels. On July 1, 2002, both planes were in flight. The Bashkirian with 9 crew members and 60 passengers on board, 45 of which were children and teenagers on a school trip. The two planes were traveling at an altitude of 36,000 feet on a collision course. The Tupolev pilot decided to ignore the TCAS instructions and instead follow the flight controller's wrong advice to descend, which led to the collision between the two planes. All the people aboard the two planes lost their lives.